folks, my name's Ben and welcome to Shots Fired Airsoft, and today we're going to have a look at the firing performance of the Vorsk EU-18, which is a very well furnished fully automatic Glock that we unboxed in a couple of videos ago now. Numerous features on this, including a threaded barrel with an adapter. We've got high-rise sights which are friendly towards silencers, also with some nice faux tritium filament in them. We've got a flared mag well, slightly extended mag release. All in all, it's a good looking pistol. Red and black wouldn't be my first choice of colours, however it was what was in stock and cheapest, so that's what I've gone for. And all in all, it does feel quite nice. Mags are full metal essentially. We do have plastic feed lips and a nice thick base plate to protect the mag should it fall. However, that is a standard gas mag. So without further ado, let's get to the chrono test. Do bear in mind, we're in the UK in January, so it is about 2-3 degrees at the moment, so I'm not expecting the most amazing performance out of this pistol. However, it should give us a good idea how it's going to function in the summer. Okay folks, here we go, a little chrono test of the EU-18, and we're going across with 0.25 gram BBs, and this is hopping a 0.25 gram BB. So this will fire as you would expect. Let's see what FPS it gives. 236, 236, 232, 230, 230, 227. Okay, so obviously we're using 0.25 gram BBs, and it is very depressive conditions for a gas blowback, and we're hitting probably around 250, 260 on a 0.2 gram BB with those results. I'm just going to see if we can get away with a bit of full auto and see if it gives us a rounds per minute rating. 672 rounds a minute. I'll pop the conversion on the screen for that. In these conditions, not the end of the world. It's always very difficult to tell with these pistols in this kind of cold how they're going to perform. There's a closer look at it in case anyone is intrigued. And we're going to move on to accuracy, by far the most important part of the pistol. Not that disappointed with those kind of results today. No doubt some red gas will probably bring it up to about 270 on a 0.25, which is pretty good going. So we're going to leave it at that for now. And one of the things that intrigues me is to see how it fires with double bell mags. We did find out in the unboxing that it will take other Glock style mags. So we're just going to have a little look and see how it does. Right. So it leaves us about 10 FPS on a double bell mag. Could be conditions, the mag's not liking the conditions, so it's difficult to tell much from a chrono test in these conditions. However, if you are in the UK and you want to run one of these, it should give you an idea of how it performs in the cold. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get very far today with this. It's difficult to say. I've done tests in these conditions before and had pistols function, gas blowback pistols. So I don't know if that can be levied against the Vorsk EU-18 in terms of its actual ability to operate during cold weather. However, you're seeing the firing footage I put in. Considering it wasn't really working where I was cycling particularly well, I was having to stop and kind of hand feed it and it would fire. It seems to have a bit of a hang up, quite a considerable hang up. This is very common with Glocks. This is well lubricated, so it does seem to be a bit jank in the way it works, and yet okay if you rack it hard, but once you start getting low on gas pressure and it's not pushing back very well, you do have this big sort of notch, which is common amongst Glocks, but a lot of pistols seem to do it better. It's always apparent, so TMs don't have a problem with it, the double bell pistols don't seem to have too much of an issue with it. Hell, even the Armament R18, which is a very cheaper than this, pistol doesn't seem to have that much of a hang up in it, in the cycling. So that could be giving us some issues. Overall, the pistol, I mean, it's one of these things where, unless we're going to wait another 4 months for the temperature to come back to give it a proper run, going off just how it looks and is it worth picking one up, I do like the way it looks. I think it's a very trick looking Glock. A lot of nice furnishings, highlights. Build quality isn't that fantastic. There's bits of overspray here and there on things, which I'm not really entirely sure why. We've got a plastic, you know, considering the rest of the pistol was very pimped, we've got quite a nasty feeling plastic trigger. There are bits like the pins that stick out the end have hard and sharp edges on, so when you're holding it, it actually eats into your palm. We've got, you know, just the stippling being just sort of moulded on the plastic is okay, but there are pistols that have done it for a similar price better. Mag itself is very much seemingly a standard Glock style mag. Again, as it's not being tested in isolation, we have had quite a lot of Glock based pistols on this channel. I've had them function in these conditions before, relatively okay. So it could be that the mag is not as good. The ejection valve is nice. The inlet valve takes gas well, it doesn't leak. However, it seemed to suffer almost immediate cool down, which I suppose is to be expected in these kind of conditions, but at the same time, like I said, I've had an AAR-17, which is £55, perform better than this in the cold. Accuracy, in the teardown on the original unboxing, we saw that it had a very short barrel anyway, as these type of Glocks tend to have, but on top of that, about half an inch of the barrel was internally threaded, which is doing nothing. So the actual barrel on this is tiny, it's about that long, probably about that long. So we're not really doing very well for barrel length. For CQB that's not such an issue, but if you're aiming to actually run one of these outside, forest, you know, field, over longer distances you might struggle. Today I didn't get to test it because we could barely get the sort of 4 or 5 shots out of it at a time before it decided it was going to stop cycling properly. I did fire a couple of shots longer range. Outside the unit there is a like a metal box on the wall that does power distribution. That's about 40-45 meters away, and I was able to hit it a couple of times off camera, so it does seem it would range out a little bit further with relative accuracy, particularly in airsoft. We're aiming to tag a man. We aren't going for the individual body parts at that kind of distance you want to hit on someone, and this probably will do it. However, unless you are desperate for fully automatic operation in a Glock platform, I would stick with the 17, and to be honest, I would stick with something like an Army Armament R17 and modify that if you want anything like this. This is a sheep wearing wolf's clothing. Realistically, compared to a lot of other airsoft pistols, it isn't quite as good internally, but on the outside it looks great. We also have the RMR plate. It's lovely that it comes RMR ready. Obviously they do these with the sights out of the box. I would probably avoid buying the one out of the box with the sight because the sight is not going to be that fantastic. Yeah, I can't really say too much more on it. Again, I don't have that much performance information to go on. Chrono test is kind of what you would expect for these conditions. It seemed very consistent, although it was low. It's probably 20 to 30 FPS off where I'd like it to be. You might get 20 of that back with warm conditions, and it was nice and consistent and went down very slowly. But yeah, I can't really give you a good sort of opinion on this. Just because it feels kind of cheapish in the hand, and you know, for the price point was good for this particular pistol. When these came out, they were over 100 quid, which was a lot of money for what is a budget Glock dressed up in some nice regalia, because that's all they are. Nowadays, where we're getting down towards like this was £85 for that. The furnishings, the fully automatic operation is nice. However, you do get what you pay for. Now more than ever, and this is £85 worth of pistol, just £85 worth of pistol, just for the ergonomics and the general sort of prettiness of it all, and this lovely threaded barrel and adapter, which is also nice. So yeah, not the most positive thing. Had it fired really well, I'd have been a bit more forgiving. However, its general build quality and feel in the hand is not as good as something even as tacky as like an Army Armament R17, and that is common for a lot of new Prols range. The Raven 7-inch high capper that I've had on the channel right back at the start of the channel like 3 years ago, whenever it was now, just isn't the same as like the WE, and that is a basic thing of how it feels. When the moment you pick up a pistol, it kind of gives you a first impression, and this is very much along those lines. But pretty, does function. Shame I couldn't get more out of it today, but my kind of opinion is if you can afford one of these, you can go and buy an Army Armament and put 30 quid worth of upgrades in it and have a banging pistol. So yeah, not really for me. Anyway, I've been Ben, it's been the Shots Fired Airsoft video. Sorry it was a bit rubbish, but I can't do much about the conditions, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.